Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome into the NCAA Hoops Hour, and I am your host, the big man on campus. It is March 5th, 2019. Hope you're having a great Tuesday here as we embark on a nice college hoops card. We get some conference tournaments getting started tonight. We got the Big South. We got the Patriot League. They're getting going tonight. We'll get into a couple of those games and all the other games as well. Make sure you, as always, like and comment. Get in the chat box and say hello. If you're new around here, make sure you're subscribing to the channel so you don't miss anything. I had plenty of great conference tournament previews that are getting going and starting up and already posted here on my channel. So make sure you check those out and opine on what I have. I appreciate it. Let's say hello to some people. We got plenty of people already in here. Thanks for checking out the show here. Where are we going to start here? James, Vinny, Brian, Isaac, Mikey D, Eric, Bernie, Ronaldinho, Tristan, Sam, Guap, Matt Lawrence, Jalen, all the guys in here. Thanks for checking out, and all the women in here. Thanks for checking out the show. I do appreciate it. All the previews are on this channel, and they will be on. It's more out tonight. So that will be something you want to look out for. Christopherson, AJN, The Loop, Legend, Terrell, KD, Donnie Rightside. There he is. Donnie Rightside, what's up? Kidson Edwards, Naeem, Jason B, BMC Fall, what's up? Andrew McGinnis, the Malacca Maniac, what's up? The Ure Yergs, what's up, buddy? My thoughts on Real Madrid. I mean, that's what happens when you don't have Ronaldo. Michael DeSola, what's up? Thanks, all of you, for watching. Make sure you're checking out MyBookie, guys. Do me a favor. Make sure you support the sponsors. The best way to keep a show free is to support the sponsors. I know a lot of you have done that. Make sure you're checking out MyBookie. You want to make sure you have a variety of different books. When the tournament comes, make sure you have the ability to bet futures. They put out all the conference tournament odds at MyBookie. Make sure you're checking that out. Use promo code BMOC when you open your account. You'll get a 50% deposit bonus. Make sure you're checking that out. MyBookie, a sponsor of the show, a great book, and give you great odds. Make sure you're checking out MyBookie. Use promo code BMOC. What else do we have here? Big Men on Campus capping off great Monday. Thank you. Yes, we did pretty well. Texas Tech came in. Prairie View came in. What else do we have here? UVA came in. Kansas State. We didn't really have one on that. We had some winners. We did have some losers as well. North Florida came in. They were a winner. Loser on, what do we have? FGCU, Weber State, of course. That team, I hate that team, and one or two others. But the play of the day on Texas Tech was a very good one. Let's check out the show. Do you answer emails on betting advice? I mean, look, I do the show, so I feel like that's answering any email. Guys, I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it for the first time ever. I'm going to step away for 1 second. I forgot my water. My good old Fiji water. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. I'm back. I had to make sure I have that water. I try to drink a liter a day at least. So hope anyone didn't wonder where I went there. Let's get into the show here. We'll start out with Fiji should be sponsoring me. Yeah, well, listen, if anybody knows Fiji or works for them or they have a connect, please get in touch with me and we can work something out. Let's get into the show here. We will start out with Xavier and Butler. This one goes at 6:00 p.m. Butler 4.5 total. Actually, I'm sorry, down to 4. Total 137.5 or 138. You look at Butler. I've not been a big fan of this team. I've mentioned before, I think they are a fade candidate. I don't love them defensively. I didn't like the Lavelle Jordan hire to begin with. I thought it was kind of a lazy hire. I didn't really feel that it was a program changer or anything, especially after guys like Brad Stevens and Chris Holtman. I just didn't like the hire, and I feel like Butler's not had as big a juice really. You look at Xavier; they have to have this game. I mean, if they have won any chance at getting back into the tournament, I think for them they got to get the job done here. They've won 5 straight. 3 have come on the road, so they've definitely been road warriors. And I wouldn't really jump off X right now. They've been a pretty good underdog. They've done a pretty nice job at, lately winning games, let alone covering. And they're a tough matchup. I mean, Gooden and Tyreek Jones, those guys are hard to guard and hard to deal with on the block. I just don't know if, the players that Butler have down on the block can deal with them. I think it's a pretty good spot for X here. I grabbed them on a show last week, and I grabbed them again here. What's up, Marcos? Am I going to be selling merch? Maybe once I get a website, I'll definitely probably put something out, but I haven't considered it yet. Xavier, a huge public dog. Yeah, I mean, again, this isn't a premium play or anything, but the number is moving the right way. So that's obviously helpful here. Off the top of my head, what is the most documented units lost in any particular sport in any particular season by any particular handicapper? The most documented units lost? I have a name, but I'm not gonna announce it. I don't really think it's relevant to the conversation. It's a good question. I actually can name someone that I know. And if Donnie Wright's still in here, he pretty much knows what I'm talking about with that one. But again, Jesse, I talked about different handicappers the other night, good and bad. I'm just not really gonna comment on that. We need to comment on the games, and that's where we're gonna stick. But I actually have 2 that I could come up with, but Donnie definitely knows one of them. So I'm gonna stay off that one. I have 2 names that I would go to. One of them is close to somewhere I used to work. Let's put it that way. Thank you, KD. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got the Jackrabbit shirt. Let's keep it moving here. Rhode Island, St. Joe's. I think both these teams should have some success scoring in this game. Both have really good guard play, whether it's Jeff Doughton and Fats Russell, or you look at St. Joe's with a guy like Charlie Brown. I mean, these are good guard-oriented teams. I think both these teams can kind of score, and I think both get into the 70s. Obviously no Lamar Kimball, but a guy like Taylor Funk or Chris Clover have stepped up. I think both these teams should have success getting into the lane, getting to the line. You look at Rhode Island. I mean, they're almost exclusively a get into the lane, get fouled type of team. You look at Rhode Island, one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the history of college basketball. They're shooting just 26.6% from 3. To put that into perspective, I mean, every other team in America is above 27%. In fact, there's only 3 teams below 28%. It's actually quite historically bad how bad Rhode Island's been from 3. 26.8%, just heinous. And to put it in perspective, there's only 2 teams that are not in the 20s, 28s, and they're not even in the 27s. So this is a really bad three-point shooting team. They're very reliant on getting into the lane, which should create, good bucket opportunities. I think both these teams will play at a pretty solid pace here, and I think we'll probably see an over here if I had to play it. What else do we have here? Stack Guap, Bo Dunn, Nick Lorenzen. How far do you think Duquesne can go in the ATN tournament? I wouldn't say particularly far. Really depends on their bracket. Let's go to VCU against George Mason. VCU won this first game against Mason by 16 points. The problem George Mason has, guys, is they have no height. They're one of the smallest teams in America, and that's a big concern because they're too guard-oriented. And you look at VCU, VCU has big guards. They have guards that can just overpower the smaller Ian Boyd or Otis Livingston. When you have guys like Evans, Van, Jenkins, all these guys, they're big guards. They really kind of do away with the smaller guard in the perimeter. And it's not like George Mason could dump it down to a big-time player down low. They just don't really have that kind of player. Their biggest player is a guy named Jared Rowder. He played at Maryland University. He doesn't really play a ton of minutes. He only plays about 20 minutes a game. So I think this is a pretty bad matchup for George Mason. You also add into the fact that VCU, I believe, with a win tonight, clinches the Atlantic 10. So this is a pretty big game for VCU, coming off a close call against the Richmond Spiders in a real rivalry game. You could still get 5.5 at BetOnline. VCU looks like a pretty solid play here. I've also talked before about VCU in the first half. That's a play I've given out to not only customers but to all of you. You look at on the road this year, VCU on average up 6.6 points a game. In the first half, they're up almost 7 points a game. You look at in this game, ran 5.5, 6. They're going to be probably 3.5 in the first half. I think that's a good play as well with VCU. I think every time they play, you got to look to take them in the first half, especially at home. This VCU team, number one defensively in the A-10. They haven't lost since January 23rd, and they're closing in on a big-time A-10 regular season title. This is the 7th-rated defense in the country, efficiency-wise. That's as good as it gets. They have some good wins this year. They beat Texas, Temple, Hofstra, Wichita. They hung against Virginia. They were right in that game. Lost by 1 on neutral against St. John's. I mean, this is a pretty good basketball team. And they're going to be a team in the tournament to watch out for. Mike Rhodes is this team playing at a real high level. I like the full game and the first half here with a bigger kind of lean towards grabbing the first half. What else do we have here? Let's go to some comments. You, me, and 3 listeners could shoot. Yeah, good point. These are ugly shooting numbers for Rhode Island. Big man loves soccer. He's American too. Yeah, I do. I'm a big fan of soccer. Donnie doesn't watch soccer, so I don't know. That's a pretty dumb question to ask him. He doesn't watch soccer. What's up, Guan? Matt Lawrence is in here. Lloyd Mass. What's up, Lloyd? 363 people. Please hit the like button and support the show. Tell your friends, retweet it. Listen, if you retweet the show, I'll love you forever. Many of you negate doing that. All of you fuckers have Twitter. Why aren't any of you doing that? Are you embarrassed to be in here? What's going on? Someone step up. Retweet the show. That's how you grow it. We have a lot of people in here every day, and none of you retweet the show. The hell are you doing? I don't ask any of you to do anything. In fact, I give you guys 10, 12, 15 games a day, breakdowns for free. What the hell's going on? The only person that retweets, the only couple of people that retweet are Adam Lastman, Matt Varnum, and a few others. So, I mean, kind of, take care of me here. I don't care if you have 17 followers. But I vilify people for the internet. I just find it amazing that people are on Twitter for 7, 8 years and they only have 100 followers. I mean, I kind of feel bad in a way. Look at you guys. Some of you are retweeting it. Thank you. Shout out to, you know what? We're going to shout out those people. Mike Book. Shout out to Mike Book. Bernie, my man Bernie, retweeting the show. Steven D'Angelo. Joe Stoll, my man, Orioles boy. Franco Miller, my man. Preston, my man, thank you. Mike Book, we shouted him out. Steve Murin, a big fan of the show, good retweeter. Jimmy Hooley with the Patriot logo, thank you. And then my man Ray Yergs, who he's a known retweeter as well. Devin Rupert, thank you, Devin Rupert. Very kind guy. He retweeted the show. DevJ139. Give him a follow on Twitter. My man in the Laker jersey. I see you, cuz. Where's he from? Cleveland. How about that? He's a LeBron James fan. You like that? Dominic Valadez. What's up, buddy? Thanks for doing that. Ooh, a Texas Tech and Odessa Permian guy. Thank you, buddy. You know, I got into Dominic before. Him and I got into it for his political stuff. He said some political stuff to me. And Callie Croc, thanks as well. Artez Jackson, Guan White. Thank you, guys. See what happens when you guys retweet? Robert Cash. D. Sorrento. Look at all you. See, why do I need all of you to do this? It's like for Mother's Day. You have to give your mom a gift because it's Mother's Day. I have to get you to retweet when I ask you to retweet. All of you should do this every day. That's the only thing I ask of you. Robert Mayhus, Nicholas May, Artez, Wolf Steak Sports Jackson. Thanks for doing that. John Platt, you too. MCA, you too. Thank you, guys. See what happens when you retweet? And if you don't have Twitter, the hell's going on with you? Why don't you have Twitter? Thank you. Brad Borkin, thank you. Brian DeCourcy, Cap'n 24/7, thank you. Retweeting the show is like giving a tribute to the boss. You don't just let Christmas go by without taking care of the boss. Because if you don't, and you don't pay tribute, you know what you get? You get a little fucking crack in the kneecaps. Jeff, I'm not embarrassed when I tweet your stuff out. I get attacked by this wheel guy. Listen, here's what, guys, I want all of you to do. And I'm going to ask one more thing of you guys tonight. And I want you all to do it. If you're being harassed by someone on Twitter, report them. That's how you get them kicked off of Twitter. Report them. Do that. Report them. That person is impersonating me. He is also saying stuff that is not true. I don't care about him. He can do it. I don't really care. But if he's bothering you, report him. That's what you do. Report him. Or just tell him to fuck himself. Because I guarantee, I appreciate all of your loyalty. But if they're bothering you, fucking report their asses. Get them fucking kicked off for harassment. That's targeted harassment, and it's illegal. So get them kicked off. All you got to do is hit the report and block button. You know, don't be afraid to do that. Thank you, Sam's Pick, Gerald, Frank Ocean, Ryan, Mean Chris, Charlie B. Let's get back to the games here. Minnesota. You know, I have a question about Minnesota. Are we getting to the point with this group where maybe they're just not that good? You know, like, why do we have to bet Minnesota? Because they're at home and they need the game. Listen, there's a reason they need the game. They've lost 6 of 8. That's why they need the game. Maybe we're getting to the point where Richard Pitino is just not a good coach. Maybe we're getting to the point where Minnesota is just not very good. And look, Minnesota needs this. If they need another win, because I think other teams are going to pass them by. This is your last chance if you're Minnesota. You have to find a way to get this job done at the barn tonight. You get 2 games left. You know, this is important. I got some concerns too, because I know the public is on Minnesota. And you look at this line, it's moved up to 5.5. Is this just a Purdue fuck piece where they come in, the game's close, and then they win by 10 like they did on Super Bowl Sunday? I remember that game. Minnesota played real well, but they forgot there were 2 halves. And they got spanked in the second half and lost by double digits. I'm not involved with this game, but I just want you to be aware. Minnesota needs to win this game because they're a bad team. They're not consistent. I like their players, though. I like Jordan Murphy. I like fucking Amir Coffey. I like this team. But, can they put a full game together is the big question. They don't necessarily need to. I'll say this. If this gets to 6, I'd probably grab Minnesota because I just think at that point, that's just too many points. They will beat up Harms down low. That's a good matchup for their bigs. They play a lot of in-and-out basketball. That's one thing that Minnesota likes to do. Get the ball in, get the ball in the lane, kick it out for 3, get it into the bigs, pump it back out to the guards. This kid, Gabe Kalsher, has played well for them. He's played real well for them. They just need to make sure they don't turn the ball over at a high level tonight. And being a team with kind of average experience, that's definitely an issue. Also, free throws. You look at the fact that this team's 11th in the conference in free throw percentage. You're not going to stay in games shooting that badly. You got to shoot better. Stay away game for me. All right. We have Nathan Gilliam in here. He says, talk games or shut up. How about you fuck off and get blocked? See ya. Listen, you want to come in this show? Okay. You want to say something? You want to jab at me? That's fine. But don't tell me what to do, and don't shit on other listeners. See you later. What else do we have here? Minnesota needs we're not talking about hookers. This is a professional show. I just got a puppy. It's like having a newborn. Yeah, no, it definitely is. I remember when I was a kid and we had a puppy. And look at that, guys. You should all be proud of yourself, because I remember when I talked about the retweets, I said, I think we had around 370 people in here. We're up over 400. So the retweets help, guys. Do that stuff for me. How bad are the Lakers? The Lakers are laughable, and that's been proven constantly when I make those comments. Holy Cross. Settle down, Dominic. You've asked that game many times. I'll get to it. You know what? For you, Dominic, anything. We'll get to that right now. Holy Cross, getting the Patriot League started tonight. Their tournament going. We get a couple games there. Holy Cross is heading up to Easton, Pennsylvania, to take on the Lafayette Leopards. Make sure you know the difference, guys, between Lafayette and Louisiana Lafayette. Some cappers have issues with that. Make sure you know that this is Lafayette, not Louisiana Lafayette. JY Poker, what's happening? Dexter Rojas, what's happening? My issue with Bill Carmody and Holy Cross is, first of all, it's a road game. Second of all, if you know anything about Bill Carmody, he runs a very impressive zone. That's something he's ran there for many years. The problem that they have is they can't defend the 3, though. And if you can shoot the ball, you'll beat Holy Cross. You look at Holy Cross this year, 301st in the country in 3-point defense. In conference, they're allowing opponents to shoot 41% from 3. This Lafayette team, 41% from 3. It should be bombs away tonight for Lafayette. If I had to play them, I would play Lafayette here at home against the Holy Cross Crusaders. You're getting a point, actually, and I would grab Lafayette if I had to. Not a game I'm in love with. None of these games tonight on the added board I have a big feel with. I considered BU, kind of at 4. I think BU is kind of an interesting team. They're always interesting in the Patriot League. The other games, Big South, not really sure Presbyterian's 15 points better than Asheville. Asheville's bad, but Presbyterian, they're not playing well right now. I would take like the mangy mutt there, kind of the way I took Jacksonville last night. I kind of recommended. I thought that was a bit too many points against Liberty, and I believe they ended up covering by a point. USC Upstate against Charleston Southern, no real opinion there. Longwood Hampton, I think the Lancers hang within that number. I thought 11 was too many. This is a new team, Hampton. They're new to the Big South this year. They were formerly in the MEAC. This is a bit of a step up in competition. To lay 10.5 points in a conference tournament game, it's kind of a big thing to do. Abilene Christian, Stephen F. Austin, another game I thought was a few too many points. We talked about Bernie, one of the listeners mentioned about Jalone Friday being out for Abilene Christian. Jalone Friday is their best player. If you know anything about Abilene Christian, you will know that this is a good basketball player, Jalone Friday. This is a kid that they need in the lineup, I think, to win games and win games by margin. You look at Stephen F. Austin. This isn't a vintage Stephen F. Austin team, but would it surprise me if Kyle Keller's team make a run in this conference tournament? No, not at all. They have a guy named Shannon Bogues, who's a really good player. Devontae Fitzgerald, Mitchell Sorrell. They have some good players, Stephen F. Austin, and they're well coached. It's not been a great year for them, but it's all different now. I think they're going to be well aware they're double-digit underdogs here. There's a lot of points to give. I don't think that Abilene Christian are 10 points better than Stephen F. Austin. Maine, New Hampshire. Lean Maine, just because I think they played really well under Richard Barron this year. I think they've been kind of a pleasant surprise. Stony Brook, Hartford. Stony Brook's a really good and kind of sneaky team. They have a kid named Yaboa, terrific player. They're a team that defends at a really high level. You look at it in the country, 86th in efficiency in the country. That's really high level. They're number 1 in three-point defense, number 2 in two-point defense, number 1 in efficiency defensively in this conference. But you're facing a Hartford team that's as good as it gets offensively. Jason Dunna, George Blagojevich, John Carroll. This is a good basketball team, Hartford. They're playing good basketball, too. They've won 4 in a row. I heard John Gallagher get interviewed by Andy Katz a couple weeks ago. You look at Hartford, guys. This team is number 1 in the country in experience. There's no team with more juniors and seniors than them. Very experienced basketball team. They get a home game here. This should be a terrific game. Really good game. Vermont, UMass Lowell. UMass Lowell's never really kind of figured it out this year. They had some injuries at the guard position. One of their better guards kind of was in and out of the lineup, and it showed. They've not played well in the second half of the season. They've had some bad losses. Lost to Binghamton, lost to Maine, New Hampshire. They've had some bad losses this year, UMass Lowell. And you're getting them against a Vermont team that it's business as usual for John Becker's group. The only team that they can't beat in this conference is UMBC. And what I find interesting here is generally in first games in their tournament, they're big favorites, 19, 20, 22-point favorites. You look at tonight, they're only a 13 and 13.5 point favorite. I like Vermont tonight. If I had to play a game in these conferences, I would look towards Vermont. They usually let open a can against these types of teams. Albany and Binghamton, I have no opinion. Binghamton has played a bit better lately, but you really kind of just need them to win this game. There's not really a lot of wiggle room here. So there you go. All you have it. I broke down every small school. Let's get back to the bigger card. What's my email? My email is bmocsports@gmail.com. Can I go over Eastern Michigan? I don't really have anything on the MAC. That's not a conference I really go over. Brad D. Flaminis. Max and Drew's show is way better. Well, then go listen to that show. Do us all a fucking favor and go away, will you? That'd be cool. Then we wouldn't have to see your stupid comments. Listen, no offense to those two, but neither can hold my jockstrap when it comes to talking about sports. So I wish them the best, but do me a favor. Politely leave and go watch their show. What else do we have here? Let's go through. Let's get back to a regular scheduled programming. UNC against Boston College. Big game here for UNC. And how about UNC? This offense is on fire. They have scored 75 or more in every game since January 12th, except for one. This team is on fire right now offensively. And I got some real question marks about whether Boston College can defend here. I know this is a road game. I know this is, a spot for BC to slay a giant, but this BC team's not shooting the ball very well right now. They have a pretty decent in and out game with Nick Popovich. The problem with going to Nick Popovich in this game is you're going to have to face a pretty big front line. Luke May, Cameron Johnson. I'd like to see Sterling Manley get some run tonight in this game. I think he could be a big factor against a pretty solid front line with Nick Popovich and Giancarlo Reyes. I like UNC in this game. I think they may struggle maybe early, but I think they'll figure it out and kind of cruise. The way Boston College is defending right now and really all year, and the way they're not scoring, I just don't really see a lot of success against this really good UNC defense. I think that's one thing about UNC that I think we kind of forget. This team has still been pretty damn good defensively. For the pace that they play at, as long as they're decent defensively, they're going to win a lot of games because their offense is just so terrific. It really doesn't matter. What else do we have here? Gave out my email. UNC has Duke on deck. Yeah, but that's not till Saturday. It's only Tuesday. Maybe a first half's worth to look here. St. Joe's, we already talked about it. Is there a reason it's so hard to find out injuries about in the MAC? No, it always is. It's like that every year with basketball and football. So that's no surprise. Kansas, Oklahoma. This is an interesting game. I would go no other way but Oklahoma here, +2. Oklahoma's great against the spread, 18-8. They're good at home against the number in the Lloyd Noble Center. And look, I know certain people don't like Oklahoma defensively. I still do. I think this is a game they have to have. And conceivably tonight, this conference could be over in the regular season, and that would mean that the Kansas streak would end. You look at LaGerald Vick still out. Marcus Garrett still not playing a ton of minutes. And Oklahoma is a team that I want to see them get back to what the norm is with this group. I think the under is worth a look here as well. That's a way I would kind of aim towards. 143, go under. Both these teams are pretty solid on defense. Neither are neither are terrific offensively or anything. I think both these teams can get after each other on the defensive end. You're going to see some zone that Oklahoma will or Kansas will throw out. I think we see changing defenses here. Both these groups are pretty good at not fouling. So I think we see a game where I think conceivably it's 70, maybe 69, 67, 60, 70, 68, something like that. I think it'd be first to 70 is going to win here. And that would be what I would consider playing under 143.5. The only concern you have here is pace. Both these teams do go pretty quick. You just got to hope that the shots aren't falling. But if you got to hope the shots aren't falling, you probably shouldn't be playing a game. We'll keep it moving. We got a couple more here. Where are we going to go here? Tennessee. Actually, I'm sorry. Utah State. They got Colorado State tonight. I do think this is a bit of a letdown game for Utah State. The Aggies obviously off a big win against the Nevada Wolfpack. We saw that game Saturday. Utah State playing great. It's the last game of the season for them. They need to win, obviously, to keep a lead up on Nevada. And while they might win, I'm not sure that a cover's in line here. What I would recommend here is I think the over's worth the look. Generally, when you have a letdown, your defense is what struggles. We know Colorado State. We've bet against Colorado State as far as overs. They're not a good defensive team. Utah State should have no trouble scoring here. And I'm willing to think with a guy like Nico Carvacho, who's the best rebounder in the country, I think they find ways to stay in this game a bit. I don't know if they'll cover, and I'm not really concerned about the side. I'm more or less like the total here. I think it's a bit low, 144.5. I would lean over in this one. I think we could see maybe a letdown. Generally, when you see a letdown, like I said, defense is the first to go. Over looks solid in this one. Nevada heading on the road to take on the Air Force. You got Nevada at 14 at some books. Really depends where you look. Or 13.5. Nevada obviously coming in off of a loss against the Utah State Aggies. We saw the game at the end be marred by some issues in the locker room and in the hallways. After an investigation, Nevada decided that they would not punish anyone. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think people will vilify Nevada for this behavior and not punishing anyone. But, to be frank and honest, I don't really blame Caroline. I think we don't know what was said, but if you know Jordan Caroline, you know that he's an upperclassman. You know that for the most part, he's a good kid. And he looked really upset. He was obviously very upset. And I think something went on there where something was said that shouldn't have been said, and someone did something they shouldn't have done, and Caroline flew off the handle. He needs to do a better job at controlling his emotions, but I feel like Musselman shut the situation down, fixed it, and said there's no need for a suspension. Nothing really happened other than a little broken glass, and that's something that the university will take care of. What I do feel that I do like about this spot is I think one thing we learned about Nevada on Saturday night is that while I do think that their schedule is a bit fraudulent, and I do think long-term they're going to have trouble, I really only care about the game at hand. They're off a loss, and now they're going to go face a team in Air Force that they beat before by double digits. They didn't play well in that game, and that was a long time ago. I think the writing is on the wall here. I think Air Force gets absolutely destroyed in this game. I think Nevada comes out and really takes care of business, and I think they do it early and often. Caroline will play tonight. And I think one thing we saw from Nevada that I loved was I think pretty much every player, if you watch the video, came to the defense of their teammate. And most people say, well, that's not good. That means they're all going to flop. No, that's loyalty. That's taking care for your brother. That's sticking up for your friend. I know for me, there are certain people that are not built like me. If I have a friend, a family member, hey, if I see a woman on the street getting hurt, I don't give a fuck. I'm stepping in because that's who I am as a person. I'm not going to just let someone else hurt someone else that I care about or even don't care about. It's the fact that I'm a human being and I'm going to help someone else out. And it's clear that most of the kids at Nevada were raised the right way. They went after their teammate. They even helped their teammate, and they didn't make the situation worse. They tried diffusing it. They fought for their brother. They went after their brother, and they helped him. And I think that was something readily talked about. And I think tonight, if I'm Air Force, I'd be quite concerned about this game. I think you readily know what's coming in. A really pissed off basketball team that has – I think a lot of aggression to take out, but I think they're going to do it in a smart way. I would look towards Nevada in this game. You can't teach that kind of stuff. That's not correct, Super Alpha. It was reported very recently that Jordan Caroline will play tonight, and he's not suspended. He's not suspended. That's not correct. Nevada will show class in this game and win by 15 plus. Yeah, they will show their class. I agree totally. Make sure, guys, you're getting the right information. Jordan Caroline was not suspended. No one was suspended. And that's something that, unless it was within the last 5 minutes, that's not correct. Want to thank all of you guys. Actually, I want to laud all of you guys. Due to your kind work, I mean, we're up to 33 likes on the show. I appreciate all of you. Or 33 retweets. That was very kind of all of you, and I thank you. Let's go back to the other games here. Ole Miss taking on Kentucky. Obviously, Kentucky off of a loss tonight. And what's up, Chris? Isn't his hand injured? No, his hand is fine. According to John Rothstein, he went through shoot around and he's fine. Kentucky, Ole Miss. Look, Ole Miss, I think, is just kind of showing just kind of what I think we thought we'd see with them. They're just an average team. And they're facing a team in Kentucky that just lost. It's not a particularly good matchup tonight for this group. Ole Miss just cannot defend the three. I mean, it's downright bad how bad this team is from three. defensively. They're allowing opponents to shoot 38% in conference. We all know how good Kentucky is defensively. This should be a great rebounding spot for Kentucky. Ole Miss has been tough, but I want to say I'm sure that Cal taught this team some things over the weekend. I think they'll be ready for this game. You have to exploit Ole Miss from the three-point line defensively. They're just not very good from there. What else do we have here? Thank you, Chris Carter. Appreciate that. Reed Travis is a game time decision. I don't think he'll play tonight, but I think they can win without him. When's the next big announcement? The next big announcement will probably be end of the week next week. I have a big meeting coming up next week. So there is going to be a day next week where I will not be here for the show, I don't believe, unless I'm able to get home in time. I really have to kind of talk to the powers that be and see when he and they want to meet with me. When that is and who that is, I'm not going to say. But you all find out info soon on it. We'll see how it all goes. But I am meeting with someone next week. We haven't decided on a day just yet, but there's going to be a day next week where we probably won't have a show. Let's get to what are the final games tonight. And I'm sure if you're Quan White or whoever, you're very excited. Tennessee is playing tonight. And, I'm going to go on a rant for a second, and it's not going to be about Tennessee, actually. It's going to be about Mississippi State. I don't understand what Ben Hallen's trying to prove. I guess he's trying to prove that he's a coach that handles disruptive people. We still have not been given an explanation as to why Nick Witherspoon hasn't played lately. And frankly, this is a big loss. Nick Witherspoon is the best perimeter defender they have. And you look at Lamar Peters. Lamar Peters has struggled mightily. He's only been in double figures once over the last 5 games. They've just not been very good. They turn the ball over constantly. It's been an issue that's plagued this team all year, and it's not been fixed. They've done nothing to improve their team. And I want to know where the hell Nick Witherspoon is. Every time he's asked about it at a press conference, he just says no update. Why the fuck won't we get an explanation here? And why don't we know what's going on? Usually when you do something like that, you explain what's going on and you get some kind of release. What is going on here with Mississippi State? And why don't we know what's going on with Witherspoon? I also wonder, what's going on with Peters? He's not played well either. You're getting Tennessee in here, and in fact, I'm sorry, you're going to Tennessee here. We all know how good Tennessee's been at home. We all know how good Tennessee's been defensively, and we all know how good they're playing. I hate to do this, but I would bet against Mississippi State here. But until I see like a complete game put together by them, I think it's either going to be blowout city for Tennessee or Mississippi State will win. But I think for Mississippi State to win, they're going to have to get unconsciously hot from 3. I think that's going to be the goal for them. If they can make 14 threes tonight, they'll win. But again, if any team does that, they'll win. Mississippi State's continued issue this year has been turnovers. They're turning the ball over 19% of the time, over 19% of the time. It's just not good enough. Turnovers and bad shooting, that is the reason. And if they don't do those things tonight, they can win this game. But right now, I'm not looking to bet against what they're doing because they're doing bad things. They're not fixing it. Letdown spot for Tennessee. I don't agree with that at all. I think that's a really poor comment, Brad Dale. How is it a letdown spot? It's an SEC game. Every game's important. I don't really believe in letdown spots if you're Tennessee. I just don't. If you're a team like Tennessee, you don't have letdown spots. Unless you're playing like Missouri or something. This is Mississippi State. This is a good basketball team on the surface. This isn't Missouri or Georgia. That would be a letdown. A letdown game, I don't think comes for Tennessee here. This isn't the definition of a letdown to me. UT has to have this game. Yeah, but Brad, I don't know if you understand, but I mean, if they lose, they're not going to win the SEC. I don't think this is a letdown. Maybe you do. I don't think it is. But like I said, if this was Missouri or Georgia or Vanderbilt, I agree. But I feel like they beat Kentucky and lost Kentucky. It's not like they beat Kentucky twice. They just kind of evened up. Keep in mind as well, important to mention here. I know people talk about all the time. This is senior night for Tennessee. Admiral Schofield's a senior. Kyle Alexander's a senior. The second best player on your team is a senior. This is like Texas Tech last night, guys. Get with the picture. It's the same kind of game. It's almost exactly the same. The only reason this game was not a premium selection is because I could see a situation where, for me, I do like Mississippi State overall. I think they're a team long-term that I think will figure it out if they get back the players they need. But the only reason it's not is because there's just a game I love tonight, and that's the premium selection. But this was real close for me. This is probably my second favorite play of the day. Senior night is a really touchy subject. Senior night is for lazy handicappers to just say a game's important. There's senior nights that matter, and then there's senior nights that have no fucking bearing at all. Is this game one that matters? To me, yeah. But like there's I saw people talking about senior nights like yesterday that like they had one player and he was like a role player. I mean, those games don't those spots don't matter for those teams. You have to look at every game as a whole. To just say every game because this last home game is a senior night, so we have to automatically bet that team, that's lazy handicapping. And it's if you hear it from someone, you should run the other way. If I tell you senior night, like last night, senior night in that Texas Tech game, it fucking mattered. You have arguably a team that none of those players will be on that team next year. Culver's leaving. Moretti's a senior. Mooney's a senior. Odiasi's a senior. Francis is a senior. They're all seniors. They're fucking out of here. And Beard's leaving as well. That's a senior night that matters. A senior night that has one guy that plays 12 minutes a game doesn't fucking matter. You have to look at who's a senior and how much do they mean to the team. Admiral Schofield and Kyle Alexander mean a lot to the team. I mean, not sure if people know this, but Kyle Alexander started. He started in games for them. The most frequent used lineup over the last 5 games, Kyle Alexander starts. And Admiral Schofield is, quote-unquote, probably the leader of this team. I know Grant Williams is the best player, but Schofield is the overall leader. And these juniors that are there, they want to send this group out on a high. The crowd will feed off of it. I don't like Tennessee, but I will be particular and tell you they have a terrific home court advantage. It's a huge stadium. They get good groups there. This is a senior night that matters. We talked about that Hartford game. They're in a pick 'em. What was the big takeaway from what I said about Hartford? Hartford is the most experienced team in the country. They're number 1. George Blagojevich is a senior. John Carroll is a senior. J.R. Lynch is a senior. Travis Weatherington's a senior. And Jason Dunna is a senior. Their fucking starting 5 are all seniors. That fucking matters tonight. That's one does matter. But if you're going out, again, for one fucking player that doesn't even play, this is a senior night that matters. We're highlighting senior nights that matter. This is a fucking one that matters, guys. Wake up. Keep this crap information you're hearing out of your head. It should go like this. It should go boop, boop. That's what should happen with that bad information. Senior night is important, but it doesn't mean everything in every game. That's why I would take Hartford tonight. Jeff, you called Tennessee frauds. Yes, fucking listen. You guys don't fucking listen with anything I say. I don't like Tennessee long term, but I don't give a fuck about long term. I'm talking about tonight. I have 2 bags that I wear, bracketologist and fucking handicapper. And as a handicapper tonight, I like Tennessee. That doesn't mean I don't not like Tennessee or do like Tennessee. Long term, I don't like them. I don't think they prove shit. And that's true. But neither is Nevada. Doesn't mean I don't like them tonight. It's very fucking simple here. Like, you guys don't, some of you people do not fucking listen. Listen. You're right, I don't like Tennessee, but that doesn't mean I don't think they're going to fucking beat up Mississippi State tonight. It's simple. I mean, come on. Okay, Brad. I mean, good luck, man. Hope you win. All right, guys. That is it for me. I hope you all have a great day. I thank you for listening. If you want and you're interested, you can watch me at around 6:10. I will be on with Gabriel Morency and Cam Stewart. We'll be talking about some college basketball games, some college conference tournaments. So go ahead and check out Fantasy Sports Radio. You can find it on Twitter, FNTSY Radio. Make sure you do that. And I'll be on there in about 20 minutes. So make sure you check that out. I'll be on tomorrow as always. And make sure you're looking out and checking out all the conference tournament breakdowns. We'll do some more tonight. We'll have them out. We get the WCC coming up. We get the MAAC coming up. All those are coming up. Make sure you check them out. And as always, thanks for watching. Appreciate all the likes. Appreciate all the support. If I had to play a game tonight, you should just listen back to all the games I gave out. You all have a great night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.